Hey there, friends and video game fans, and welcome to my first ever review. This is Hard West. If you haven't seen, all of my gameplay of this game is documented. It's all on my channel. It'll be there on the internet forever. So, Hard West. I picked up Hard West by indie developer Creative Forge Games, knowing virtually nothing about it. In fact, a little bit of artwork, the words turn-based strategy with cowboys were all it took to get me interested. I think I got it on sale about $14.99 or something. I pre-ordered it about a week before release. As far as I can tell, this is only Creative Forge Games' second game. The only other title on their website is a game called Ancient Space. It's a 3D real-time strategy game, from what I can tell, released in 2014, published by Paradox Interactive. Hard West was published by Gambitious Entertainment. So looking back, I took a risk pre-purchasing an indie game from an unknown studio that I knew nothing about. But do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I actually have really good instincts when it comes to these things, and they certainly did not let me down this time. Hard West is a gem. It has a lot of personality. It has a story that is just rife with black humor. It has beautifully detailed environments, an awesome soundtrack, all of which support the theme and setting to a T. Hard West takes its audience through several stories, all set in a grim and brutal Wild West. In this version of 1800s America, the devil walks the earth along with other supernatural beings. The entire narration is delivered by Death himself, apparently having a conversation with the protagonist, sort of like, this was your life. Although it's clear that Death is addressing the same character, Warren, throughout, the perspective of the story shifts between several different characters. Sometimes last scenario's hero will become next scenario's villain. And the game actually kind of seems to take glee in forcing you to take the role of the bad guy. This is great. I feel like a total heel.
The power unleashed from those charged coils electrocuted everyone in the shed.
Sometimes these perspective changes mean that you will grow attached to a character only to play the adversary who will kill them later. Through all of this, the story is delivered with a major dose of black humor. There are numerous references to gruesomely over-the-top acts of violence, which I took as pretty tongue-in-cheek, very self-aware, and not taking itself very seriously. The segments of storytelling are interesting, and undoubtedly well done, though sometimes they could drag on for a bit too long before getting to the meat of the game. Well, everybody, sorry there were no fights tonight. Hopefully next time. Thanks for watching. My name's Shanked. Have a good night. Now let's talk about combat. The combat is easily the strongest part of this game, as it should be with any turn-based strategy, right? The graphical style really complements this gritty, visceral feel of the combat. There are some extraordinarily bloody and gruesome deaths that make every kill feel like a major victory. I'm just gonna step right in front of him. I'm gonna let him see my face. You remember me, you son of a bitch? That's the masked man. You remember me? Bam. I would say at times I felt the UI could do a better job of explaining what certain things do before I actually tried them. I do appreciate a brief tutorial, and Hard West has a very brief tutorial explaining just the bare bones of the of the mechanics and really not holding your hand through very much else. But I found that it's a double-bladed sword for sure. I found myself having to teach myself a lot of how the game works just through blind trial and error, which was a little frustrating at first, but once I got over the initial learning curve, I actually found myself very comfortable in controlling my posse. The game has a standard AP base system in place. It's very straightforward, 2 AP, you get 2 actions. However, the fact that attacking with a weapon actually causes your character's turn to end immediately does cause you to have to make some interesting decisions, do some careful planning before you actually go through with a course of action. So that actually did a lot to keep the combat very interesting with just a very simple little design choice. A few quality of life adjustments could have been made, particularly, and this was a bugaboo that caused me to lose the game at least twice, and barely through any fault of my own. The fact that clicking once will cause your character to move, and movement cannot be canceled, it can't be taken back once it starts. So, twice in the game at least, I lost a fight because of a misclick. No, that is not where I wanted to go. Oh, crap. What? No! Why did you do that? Why? Oh, that's infuriating. Please. No, come on, mercy. That was so stupid. Just have to survive one shot, buddy. God damn it. And again, the UI doesn't always communicate certain information very well. I often couldn't tell exactly what enemy I was going to be shooting at. Here we go. Can I harm him? That'll do. And then we whip out the bone hand. Oh, I meant to shoot the guy with 5 health. Oh, well. I felt just a general lack of feedback from the user interface, especially when I was new and learning the ropes. But again, these are just 2 gripes that I have. They're minor gripes, and overall the combat portions of the game are engrossing and addictive. Hard West also features 2 distinctive game mechanics, which add to the game in a big way, supporting the setting and theme while adding complexity and a lot of interesting choices to gameplay. One of these 2 unique mechanics is luck. Luck functions in some ways like armor, and other ways like mana points. So each time one character attacks another, there's a percentage chance to hit or miss, right? Standard fare for any turn-based strategy. However, every time an attack misses, the character who got missed will lose an amount of luck that is always based on that percentage chance to hit. So for instance, if I take aim at a bandit and I have an 81% chance to hit him and I miss, that bandit will still lose 81 luck points. Once a character runs out of luck, then they will get hit. No matter how low the odds are that they will get hit normally. Once you're out of luck, you're out of luck. In a certain sense, it adds kind of like a thin layer of protection. You need to have luck remaining in order to stay alive. But because you know that even if you miss an enemy repeatedly, he will eventually run out of luck. This has the effect of making every shot feel like progress, even if you're repeatedly missing. And you never get into one of those situations where the AI will just hunker down and you're forced to take inaccurate shot after inaccurate shot till the random number generator finally decides to give you that 1 in 10 hit. This is for Pablo.
needed to cut the cipher piece from the clairvoyant's still warm corpse.
Aside from that, just the way this concept of luck fits into this setting of gunfighters going against each other, it's beautiful. The second very awesome game mechanic that Hard West features is the card system. So throughout the story, sometimes for doing special story quests, sometimes for defeating enemies in combat, you will be rewarded with cards, and these are just playing cards. Each of these cards has a unique set of stat bonuses and special abilities attached to it. And if you put that card into one character's hand, they get those stat bonuses. But wait, it gets even better, because you're also building real poker hands, and you get further bonuses to your character depending on what hand you have. So 2 of a kind increases your speed, 3 of a kind increases your luck. My favorite was always the flush, which gives you regenerating luck each turn. Really powerful. And again, just brilliant exploitation of the theme and setting. Again, it leads to some interesting choices. I can't tell you, I spent sometimes like 15 minutes at a time just tinkering with the cards, because you do have to decide who gets what hand, who's the most important character in your posse. Maybe if Warren gets the flush, then Dad can't have the 3 of a kind that you want him to have. So you have to make these choices, and it actually leads to you kind of getting the feeling that these gunfighters are all actually sitting around a poker table together and playing cards against each other. And since there aren't really any RPG elements to speak of, very little in the way of stat progression, this is how you customize your characters. So those are the core mechanics that really solidly support the theme and add so much complexity to the gameplay. Also worth mentioning are a couple of optional game modes. Iron Man is, again, pretty standard fare, just very unforgiving. If you lose a fight, you will have to start over the entire story from the beginning. Definitely very brutal, very appealing to the hardcore gamers. Did not appeal to me, especially not while I was recording. I would have spent so many more hours on this game if I had tried to play through it on Iron Man mode. Different difficulty settings as well, but the one optional setting that stood out for me was combat wounds. And this is another very interesting idea that I haven't seen anywhere else. Maybe somebody else in a turn-based strategy game has done something like this, but I haven't seen it. If a character gets seriously wounded in a fight, then there's a chance that they will end up with a combat injury. And this could be like, a mangled foot, a bleeding wound, a cracked skull, a gouged eye, or mutilated face, I think it is, a broken back even. By the way, I suffered a hell of a lot of misfortune. Oh my god, -2 HP? Oh man. So everybody is in kind of bad condition. Oh god. I better make sure everyone's got at least one healing thing, huh? And so these obviously will confer some pretty serious stat penalties for a time. God damn, he's so slow right now because of that spine injury. Because his back got broken by a jaguar. It's horrible. It's horrible. A jaguar tore his face off, and then another jaguar later. Not even the same jaguar. Another jaguar later. Maybe it was the same jaguar, just on different days. Jesus. I'm really enjoying this game. But the point is, if you make it through a combat or two with this wound, debuffing your character sometimes rather severely, then after that the wound heals, and it becomes a scar. And the scar translates into a permanent buff. In a game where there really aren't any character progression, there's no experience system or anything like that. This is a way for your characters to actually become more powerful over time. It's an optional setting, so it allows you to trade off difficulty in the short run for difficulty in the long run, because this will make, if one of your guys gets wounded, then your next combat is going to be a greater challenge. If you make it through that, your next one might be all that much easier, because now your wounded warrior is a scarred warrior instead. And it really made the game very engaging, very fun. I actually looked forward to having my characters wounded in battle, because I wanted them to get stronger. There we go. That took a minute. Well, let's see what we have here. All of our grizzly battle wounds have now wow, healed to turn Senor Zacharias into something of a beast. I should mention that at the time of recording, Creative Forge Games has already released an expansion to this called Hard West: Scars of Freedom. And I've already started playing it on my channel, although this review has not particularly covered any of the content there. Clearly a game that was crafted with love and diligence. Hard West is a game that employs enough of the conventional methods of the genre to let its truly innovative aspects shine through. Essentially, the combat mechanics are simple and straightforward, and they do their job just as well as any turn-based tactical game I've seen. The game intrigued me with its unusual setting and subject matter. It delighted me with its ridiculous levels of violence, and it kept me fascinated by its simple and yet subtly complex combat mechanics. The unusual combination of Wild West and horror genres is illustrated impeccably by a beautiful art design as well as an amazing soundtrack, both of which really constantly reinforce this feeling of being in a nasty place in a Wild West. And for those of you who are completionists, there are plenty of reasons to replay this game again and again, with tons of unlockables and optional difficulty settings. There are plenty of achievements and bragging rights to be had here. You can find this game on GOG or Steam for $19.99 American. And if you're a fan of the tactical turn-based genre, and especially if you would like a change of scenery from what these games generally offer, I'd highly recommend it. I want to thank you all for watching. Hopefully there will be more reviews like this to come in the future. If you found this review interesting, please like, subscribe, and share me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter. If you haven't checked out me playing Hard West on this channel, you can definitely do so. There are links in the description. If you feel like sending me some artwork, I would love to encourage that. I'm definitely looking for logos, banners, whatever you want to send me. I also want to thank Creative Forge Games for creating this marvelous, beautiful little game. I enjoyed playing this so much. And if you guys see this and you just want to send me a message and say hi, that'd be pretty cool. And one more shout out goes to a very important friend of mine, Theodoric Ripper, whose advice and help were of immeasurable benefit to me during this project. Theo, you are the Mr. Miyagi to my Lil Bow Wow. I was actually going to compare you to Yoda, but you didn't even make me carry you on my back, so that makes you cooler than Yoda. Thank you so much. And for those of you who haven't checked out Theo's channel, there will be a link to that in the description as well. So one more time, my name's been Head Got Shanked. The game's been Hard West. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.